So yeah, my name is Mzwandi Listik. I'm going to talk about a bit of attack. And first things first, like Dion also said earlier on, such a great honor for us to come here, and thanks for the invite. And it's always nice to share the knowledge of the game, because of I believe if we work together, irrespective of which country you're from or what color of your skin you are, I believe we like to make the world a better place. If we can work more like this, it makes the world a better place. So thank you for inviting us, and it's such a great honor to be here.
Bien, están muy agradecidos de haber venido y que para ellos es un honor poder compartir todo el conocimiento que tienen y compartir la experiencia con ustedes, que eso contribuye a que después hagamos que no importa el país que seamos, el color de piel, que eso va a hacer que un mundo mejor, y para ellos es un honor estar acá.
And actually, Argentina for me has got a special place in my heart. I remember my first visit, it was in 2005
Dice
in Mendoza.
que para él Argentina está en un lugar especial en su corazón porque la primera vez que vino fue en 2005 en Mendoza.
Those days I was young, I used to have a lot of hair, but now because of coaching and stress levels I don't have hair anymore.
Tenía mucho pelo en ese momento y ahora por entrenar y el nivel de estrés ha perdido todo el pelo.
In Mendoza there was a Junior World Cup, which is South Africa. We won it against Australia in the final, so that's why Mendoza will always have a special place in my heart, and Argentina in general.
En Mendoza y Argentina en general están en su corazón porque ahí ganaron el Mundial Juvenil en la final contra Australia.
And then straight to the point about attack. First things first, my background when it comes to rugby, I've played sevens for more than 40 tournaments. So I used to play against Santiago Gomez, who's the current coach now. So we used to play against each other a lot, and there was a gentleman also by the name of Fernandez Lobe. He was a lock, and even the current one of the players now, Juan Imhoff, when he was a youngster, so I used to play against them. So I had great memories between us and those players.
Él también jugó 40 torneos de Seven y jugó contra Santiago Mejora, contra Juan Fernández Lobe y contra Imhoff. Por eso tiene grandes recuerdos de ellos.
So that's where the love for attack for me comes from, because of the service background. So it's something that I'm passionate about.
Por eso el amor por el ataque viene ya del Seven.
And once again, the floor is open for everyone. If you want me to stop at any time to ask the question, you're more than welcome. There's no formalities, so if you want, lift your hand up, then I'll just pop it straight to your question.
Sin formalidades, el que quiere hacer una pregunta, levanta la mano.
To me, rugby is about the pressure game. That's how I define rugby. When people ask me what is my philosophy in rugby, my philosophy in rugby is about applying pressure to the opposition, and there are many ways to apply pressure.
Para él, rugby es un juego de presión. Cuando él le pregunta cuál es su filosofía, es que el rugby es un juego de presión, y aplicar presión sobre la oposición.
So once again, you apply pressure by running into space, or those who are big enough like Dan, you can run over someone. You don't have to go to space.
Una de las formas de aplicar presión es correr hacia el espacio o correr sobre alguien en caso de que seas fuerte como Dan.
And the second one is passing, which is, I feel like it's something that happens the most on the field, because you see Dan is getting paid to do maybe 12 scrums, but at least as coaches that are coaching skills, we're getting paid to maybe make more than 100 passes a game. So I think we are doing more job.
La segunda es pase, que es la que más pasa en el partido. Él dice que Dan en un partido hace 12 scrums, o un entrenamiento de 12 scrums, y ellos por entrenamiento, por partido, hacen alrededor de 100 pases, por eso tiene más trabajo.
And the next way for me is to get into space when you apply pressure by kicking, and it happens a lot these days when it comes to the test match level, which is Argentina is also one of the teams that are doing the best in a test match level.
Y otra de las formas para aplicar presión es el kicking, y que Argentina lo hace mucho y bien en test match level, y ellos es otra forma que se da bastante hoy día.
And remember the other advantage of kicking. The only forward pass that is allowed in rugby is kicking.
Y que el único forward pass que se permite en rugby es el kick. Así que por eso hay que
And then the other ones was to apply pressure, exactly what Dan and Dion presented earlier on, through the set pieces. That's how we apply pressure also.
La otra forma también es la obtención, el scrum y el line-out, como ya lo mencionaron antes Dani y Dion.
And then also territorial pressure, which is sometimes, actually most of the time, teams are getting territorial pressure by using the kicks. So that's also one of the most important things when it comes to the pressure game.
También la presión territorial que va acompañada del uso del pie.
And then the other one, which I'm not going to talk about these ones, the defense, which is a lot of teams are also now applying pressure through defense because of they force teams to make mistakes and they capitalize from those mistakes.
No va a hablar de defensa, pero muchos utilizan también para aplicar presión en la defensa, para generar errores y capitalizar esos errores.
And the most important one is the scoreboard. You can have all the other pressure points, but if you don't have a good pressure on the scoreboard, then all of us will be fired.
Dice que la más importante es el tanteador, que podés tener todas las otras, pero no tenés el tanteador, todos ellos estarían despedidos.
And then just a quick question. Probably some of you guys have seen this. There's a jug, there's big rocks, there's pebbles, there's sand. If I can ask one person, if you were to fill in that jug now, if you've seen this exercise before, it's fine, keep your hand down. If you've never seen it before, if I had to give you all those, the jug and the rocks and the pebbles and the sand to fill up that glass, which one would you start with first?
No sé si lo comprendieron, pero hay un ejercicio que le está proponiendo que es como llenar ese frasco. Si tuvieran todos esos materiales,
I think there's our
¿qué
scrum coach. I think he's him and Dan. Yeah, there's our scrum coach there. Which one will you start?
Dice, ¿qué pondrías primero en el frasco?
La arena.
The sand.
Start with the sand. And the second one?
They like the beach.
Okay.
The props.
And the second one?
La segunda. Vos te metiste en la arena, así que no sé.
Seguí contando todo.
No.
Pebbles.
The
The
pebbles.
pebble, second one.
Just the rocks.
The rocks. I can tell you as scrum coach. Let's see how it goes.
Orientación vocacional.
So there, he starts with the sand. Yeah, you started with the sand. You went with the pebbles, second one. But your big rocks don't fit into the jug.
I don't know the size of the rocks.
But I said it's big rocks. So you understand why I'm asking this question. Then I'll go to the next one. Okay, this is us, backline coaches. Backline coaches, we've got brains.
Ahora va a ser el pensamiento del
Okay, so I'll
entrenador de backs.
start with the big rocks, but there's a theory behind what I'm saying now, so you'll understand why I'm asking these questions.
Que va a empezar con las rocas grandes. Hay una teoría atrás de esa interpretación.
Yeah. So you start with the big rocks. You will see what it means when it comes to our daily life as coaches. You start with the big rocks, and you invest more time and space for those big rocks. And then you go with the pebbles, second one. And then you go with the sand. And then what does it mean in our coach's life, in our life? When it comes to the big rocks in our lives as coaches, for example, in attack, I'm talking about attack now, the things that you do the most on the field.
Dice que comprendieron que empieza con las rocas grandes y demás, no como los entrenadores de Scrum, y que las rocas grandes serían los fundamentos de lo que pasa más en el partido.
So first things first, yes, in order for all of them to fit in the jar. First things first, rugby is a numbers game. So the team that's got more numbers on their feet and in play, they've got a better chance to play whatever they want to execute.
Rugby es un juego de números y el equipo que tenga la mayor cantidad de jugadores en sus pies va a tener mejores chances que la oposición.
So that's why you need a good work rate of the ball to get the numbers.
Por eso se necesita mucho trabajo ratio sobre la pelota. para generar números.
And then also on attack, the other key thing when it comes to what you need as a team is good communication skills amongst our team.
Y la otra cuestión fundamental es buena comunicación entre el equipo.
And then, like Dan said earlier on, when you start with the set pieces, like Dion was saying, which is it's one of the biggest mental things in a test match level. If you've got physical dominance in set pieces, like Dan was saying, it mentally shows that you are dominating the team physically, and then sometimes it breaks your head.
Dice que todo empieza, como decían en el scrum, si hay una dominación en las formaciones, todo empieza a meterse dentro de la cabeza de la posición y eso genera mejores condiciones para atacar.
And then the other thing when it comes to set pieces, remember if you get a solid base to attack from a set piece, you are in control, like Dan was saying earlier on. If your team is going on the back foot on a set piece, you are already under pressure, even though you still got a ball in hand, but you're going backwards. And we, as the team that is defending, for example, will be going forward, so we are more in control. So that's why set pieces, you need a solid base, or even if you're going forward, because it puts the team that is defending under pressure.
Si tenemos una base sólida en las formaciones, va a generar que ya el equipo esté bajo presión por más que tenga que defender o por más que tengamos que defenderlo. Si está sobre sus pies, nosotros seríamos los que avancemos para defenderlo y tendremos la iniciativa. Y si estamos con la pelota en mano y hemos ido para adelante, tendremos la iniciativa sobre una defensa que ya está bajo presión.
And like I said earlier on, the next one will be the catching and passing, which is something that happens the most on the rugby field. That's something that I will probably talk about later on.
La siguiente es el atrapar y pasar, o el pase y la recepción, que pasa permanentemente durante el partido.
And then the running lines, I will also talk about them later on. And I feel like for all the coaches that are here, even if you are coaching at school or you're coaching at club rugby, those two things will probably be, for any level in rugby, I think those are the most important things when it comes to rugby, because I'm talking about attack now, not talking about the other stuff, because of those are the things that are happening the most on the field.
Dice que por el siguiente vienen las líneas de carrera, que esas dos cosas, el atrapar y pasar y las líneas de carrera son las cosas más importantes a cualquier nivel, escuela, club y test match.
And then also the attacking kicks, like I said to you guys, normally these days teams, they've got a good defense systems where you can't see space in front of you, so you have to use the kicks to get into the space behind them.
Después las patadas de ataque, como los sistemas defensivos no generan espacio o no nos brindan ningún espacio para atacar, por eso el kick para atacar por arriba de ellos.
And then the next one will be contact skills, because of rugby, it's about contact.
Y las siguientes son destrezas de contacto, porque es rugby y es un deporte de contacto.
And then also the breakdown skills, because of your breakdown also determines your attack. The quicker you get and the quicker you get the ball on the breakdown, the better it is for your attack, and the more difficult it is for the team that's defending, because of they're going to struggle to set their defense line.
Y por último, las destrezas del breakdown, porque cuanto más rápido tengamos la pelota, mejor situación vamos a estar para atacar y la defensa va a tener que luchar más para poder brindar una posición eficiente.
Is there any questions so far before I move on? All good. Then the next one, the pebbles on attack. Remember, these are the big rocks that I was talking about earlier on, that you need to prioritize your time according to what you do the most and what you require the most when it comes to game time. So on attack, these are the things that I feel like if I spend probably 70% of the time, if not 80% of the time, on training field on these things, then I've got a better chance to execute whatever I want to execute when it comes to game plan.
Estas son las cosas que más pasan en el partido, por eso son importantes para el juego. Si yo le destino un 70%, un 80%, en la semana seguramente voy a tener mejores chances de mejorarlo para el partido.
And then just before I go to the next slide, I've seen, okay, the next one, which is the pebbles, second in the jog. will probably be to analyze the opposition and also analyze your strengths also.
El siguiente sería las rocas pequeñas, que serían analizar la posición y analizar el análisis propio.
And the game plan, of course.
El plan de juego también.
And the starter moves.
Y los movimientos de inicio.
And the phase plays in between.
Y las fases sucesivas entre movimientos de inicio.
So those are the second thing that I'll probably also invest time when it comes to my planning for the week, when it comes to how I want to train.
A la hora de planificar la semana, esto viene en segundo plano. Primero los fundamentals y después viene toda esta parte.
Because once again, if you go back to the big rocks, you can't execute this one. You can't execute this one if you don't have the skill set that on the big rocks. So that's why I spend more time on the big rocks for me to be able to execute the next stage in my plan when it comes to attack.
Si no tengo las destrezas fundamentales que vimos en las rocas grandes, no voy a poder llevar a cabo el plan de juego que me he propuesto o que intente proponer.
I'll probably touch a bit on the phase plays also. I'll touch a bit on the phase plays later on with the clips also.
Y sí, bueno, ahora después vamos a mostrar algunas imágenes del juego de fases.
And then the last one, the send. It's there, you need it, but it's not the most important thing, you know, because you need to understand also the player profiles on the other side. What we do in our system also, we will go through every player from the opposition. We will understand that player's strength, we will understand that player's weaknesses, we will understand which shoulder does he use on defense. We understand where his shoulder does he miss his tackles, so that it helps our players when you go and run against a player, you know chances are okay. If you go on the left shoulder, you've got a better chance to break that tackle. So those are certain things that helps our game.
Dice que después viene la arena, que es son detalles, no es necesario, pero no es lo más importante, que son las características de los jugadores que vas a enfrentar, si taclea, si su hombro fuerte es el derecho, si pifia más tacles o agarra más tacles con el otro, después el arbitraje o alguna tendencia que esté.
And then also the match officials at test level, certain officials, like all of you guys watched the game earlier today.
Yes.
So there's certain things that the French refs, they will allow it to happen. But there's certain things that other refs won't allow that thing. So you need to understand. Then remember, he's the CEO on the field, the ref.
Dice que todos vieron el partido de la mañana, dice que los referees franceses permiten un montón de cosas pasar que otros referees no permiten, por eso analizar el árbitro que toca es importante para interpretar el juego.
So you need to understand what is this that it does allow in the game, what is this that it doesn't allow, so that at least you know how to play his mind.
Y necesitan entender qué es lo que está permitido y qué es lo que no está permitido. Y eso lo hacen con el análisis.
Okay, and then the last one will be the trends. Once again, like I said, this is just a small send, something that you have a knowledge of, but it's not the most important thing, which is the trends and picking up, okay, what is happening now at international rugby? The team probably that kicks the most has got a better chance to win the game. Those are the over 90%. The team that kicks the most. When Argentina beat Australia, was it in Mendoza? I think it was in Mendoza that game.
San Juan.
Oh yeah, that was the second one. Sorry, yeah. So what happened? The Argentina out-kicked Australia. They kicked more than them. I think they kicked about 32 kicks. Then Australia were around 24 kicks. The stats at test match level, they're telling you that the team that kicks the most has got a better chance to win the game.
Dice que, por ejemplo, la tendencia que hay en el nivel de test match es que el equipo que patea más tiene un 90% de probabilidades de ganar el partido, que fue un poco lo que pasó en San Juan en el test match que los Pumas le ganan a Alfred.
Any questions? My friend, if I may ask you again, will you start with the sand again or will you start with the big ones?
I'm thinking.
Dice si le pregunta de vuelta si empezaría con la arena o con las rocas grandes.
Okay, then I'm going to go now to the next part of my presentation, which is I'll try to be quick.
La próxima parte de la presentación.
The most important thing that I want to talk about is just attack. And also in attack, it's not a game plan. It's just the big rocks that we need the most for anything. You can be at club rugby, you can be at school, you can be at provincial, you can be at the test match level. You need to invest time more on these things that I'm going to show now. The catching, we talk about in our system, catching early with both hands. Everyone understands it nice and clear. If the ball is coming from this side, you need to go and catch the ball early so that you can have more time also to make decisions and also save time for the players on your outside. So the earlier you catch, the better it is. But if you're going to catch a bit late, oh, sorry.
Bien, va a hablar ahora de ataque, de los fundamentos. Y va a hablar de recibir la pelota antes o atrapar la pelota antes, que eso nos da más, y con dos manos nos da más tiempo para tomar decisiones y para poder realizar algún por ahí un pase y ajustar la longitud del paso.
Then loaded, we talk about loaded position, which is when you catch. If the ball is coming from that side, you don't want to catch there, because of when you catch there, your elbows don't have power behind them. You understand? So what you want to do, you want to catch in a loaded position already. So once you catch from here, you can pass straight from here in one motion without loading. Because I've seen some of the players where they sometimes catch here, but now to pass from here, then you must always reload and then make the pass.
Bien, lo que dices de atrapar la pelota en una posición de carga, lo llaman, que es con los codos flexionados, no con los codos extendidos, de manera de poder realizar un pase en un movimiento, y si lo hago antes, tengo la posibilidad de hacer un movimiento. Si tengo las manos al frente, tengo que recargar para volver a pasar. Y si tengo las manos extendidas, lo mismo.
So when we go through the cliff now, you must think about these 3 points when it comes to catching. First one, like I said again, is to catch early with both hands. The second one, at all times, eyes on the ball until the ball is in the hand. Then that's the only time we're going to look at the next target. And then the third one, it must always be in a loaded position. Do I have to show you?
Bien, fíjense, vamos a mostrar unos videos y sí que fíjense esos 3 aspectos de atrapar antes, ojos en la pelota y la posición de carga de los brazos.
And remember once again, the quicker I catch, I've got more time to do whatever I want to do with the ball. And the second thing is that the quicker I release this ball with one motion, the better it is for the player on the outside. That player will have more time, will have more space. But one thing we don't understand, once I take half a second too long to release this ball from here on the inside, it will give the defenders 5 meters extra to make the tackle on the wide channel or to close the space.
Lo primero que dice es cuanto más rápido yo atrape la pelota, voy a tener más tiempo para poder llevar la pelota al jugador que está libre. Y que si lo que yo me demoro, 0 segundos que me demore, son 5 metros que el jugador libre empieza a tener un defensor.
And then, the next one will be the passing. So we want to pass through one motion, like I said. Where you're catching it, it must always be in one motion to the pass to the next target.
Pase en un movimiento.
And the second one, with both hands through to the target.
Con las manos hacia el blanco.
And then if the pass is going longer, if you want to pass a longer pass now, I always tell players, don't be lazy with your wrist. Because when you catch from here, yes, you're in a strong position to pass, but if you want to get an extra distance, you must see what my fingers are doing. If I catch from here, then when I release from here, look at my wrist. I push it hard so that I can get extra distance. If I'm going to go for a short pass, you don't have to use the wrist. You can catch from here, one motion, and then just here with your fingers.
Para pase corto no es necesario usar las muñecas, pero para un pase largo usar las muñecas como para ganar unas yardas extra, y muchas veces los jugadores son bastante vagos con el uso de las muñecas.
And last point, I always try to help to motivate the players to always finish on a target. Let's say if I'm going to pass for the player that's next to me, when you pass, you must always, at all times, after the pass, your hands must always finish towards that target.
Y siempre lo que hace mucho hincapié es que después del pase termine con las manos hacia el receptor, hacia el blanco.
And then once again, there's something that we talk about, good habits. So when you practice to finish on a target, chances are if you're going to pass 100 times towards that target and finish there, and you practice it again and again and again and again, you've got a better chance to be consistent with your pass.
y ellos trabajan sobre el buen hábito. Entonces, si yo lo hago 100 veces terminando con las manos hacia el receptor, voy a tener más chance de ejecutar eficientemente en el juego.
Okay, this is the thing. Sometimes when you don't finish on a target, if I'm gonna pass sometimes, yeah, and I release the ball early, the ball can go down. If sometimes I'm gonna pass for down there, and then I end up swinging my arms too hard, do you understand? If I release late, the ball sometimes goes upwards. But the consistent one, if you catch from here, and then always towards the target, and you practice that again and again more than 100 times, you've got a better chance. So that's the thing. If you practice good habits on finishing on a target at all times, you've got a better chance at all times to have a proper, solid pass, 99%. But if you're going to be inconsistent with how you release, then sometimes you're going to be everywhere with your passes.
Lo que habla es el tema en qué momento suelta la pelota. O sea, suelto antes, con el swing de los brazos, la pelota puede hacia abajo, y la suelto después puede hacia arriba. En cambio, si atravieso y siempre termino con los brazos, voy a tener un 99% de probabilidad de tener un pase sólido. There are some questions.
Okay? Questions?
Si por ejemplo tiene que buscar un pase más largo, ¿recomienda mantener la carrera recta o ir un poco hacia donde va a dirigir la pelota?
If you have to make a long pass, a very long pass, you recommend keep the run straight, or maybe you approach one step and pass.
Okay. A good question. Once again, there's no right and wrong into everything that I'm saying. So if you've got a philosophy of how you normally do things, it's fine. If it's working for you, it's working. So there's no right and wrong. Good question, my friend. So what I normally promote to my players, remember the most important thing when you're attacking, you want to fix your defenders on the inside to create space for the guys on the outside.
Dice, no hay bien o mal, si funciona para vos está bien. Lo que él promueve para sus jugadores es lo siguiente. Para mantener el espacio, uno tiene que fijar jugadores para mantener el espacio externo.
So first things first, to go back to your question, you want to be running straight before you catch the ball. You want to run straight and catch early.
Para fijar ese jugador, lo que quieres es correr derecho y atrapar la pelota antes.
So once I fix my defender on the inside, my job is done. So how I pass the ball, it doesn't matter to me. My job is to fix the guys on the inside.
Una vez que el jugador está fijado en el hombro interno, después cómo le hace llegar la pelota al compañero, no importa, ya el trabajo ya está hecho.
So I always tell my players, if they want to go for a longer pass, after I'm finished fixing the guy inside in front of me, I can always take step off into my pass. Do you understand? I can always step off into my pass and pass in a strong position where I can follow the pass through. Does it make sense? Because sometimes, okay, do you want to translate that one?
Que una vez que fijó el defensor, puede hacer un paso hacia afuera para atravesar el movimiento y llegar más lejos.
Because this is the thing, when I was young, we were taught when to pass, we must always pass on the inside shoulder. That was back in the days. They would tell us we must pass away from
Antes,
the body.
Cuando él era joven, lo hacían pasar sobre el hombro interno.
And then what happens now, if I'm going to pass and then end up finishing on the inside, and then Dan decides to carry the ball there, who's going to clean on Dan?
Dice que si él pasa y queda sobre el hombro interno y Adán está quedado, ¿quién es el apoyo de Adán o quién va hacia Adán?
See, so that's the thing. For me, I always tell my players, you're more than welcome. You can fix the guy straight, but when you want to pass now, you can take off one step and then pass and follow through.
¿Se entiende? Dice que una vez que fijaron, puedo acomodar el pie, pasar y seguir el movimiento.
So now there's a lot of things that I can do now. If I pass from here, I can support Dan. If he gets a line break, I can support him. If Dan gets tackled, I can always clean there if I'm needed to clean.
Y de ahí puede hacer un montón de cosas. Si Dan ve que hace un quiebre, él puede ir al apoyo. Si está tacleado, él puede ir a limpiar ese break.
So once again, my friend, there's no right and wrong. See, if the old coaches that used to coach us back in the days, they wanted us to pass on the inside shoulder, that was good for them then and us then. But I say now these days, for me, I want my players to fix a guy, yes, but when you pass, you can always take off and pass and follow your pass. So that's just me. I hope I answered your question.
Antes en esa época servía hacer eso, hoy lo que él propone y lo que quiere sus jugadores es lo siguiente, que pasen y que después vayan en apoyo.
Is there any questions?
You talked about the good habits when
Yes.
catch and pass. What do you prefer, that inside leg or outside leg in the catch?
That's an interesting question.
Él
Also.
acaba de preguntar si a la hora de recibir la pelota, si lo hacen sobre la pierna interna o externa.
That's an interesting question also, but what we always try to say to our players, we want them to catch on the outside feet. But once again, there's no right and wrong. So we always say to them, on a perfect picture, we want them to catch on the outside one. If the ball is coming from this side, so even though your hips are still square, but you're on your outside one, where you can pass on the next one in one motion. But once again, it's not a perfect world. I've seen players where they can catch in one motion here, and then pass straight in one motion. So when I coach players, I will always ask, okay, if you can, catch on the outside one. But the best players in the world, like they look at your arms, those guys, they can just catch even here and pass in the same step.
It is faster like that, no?
It takes a special player to do it. Some players can. So some players prefer to catch here where they're in control and pass on the next one. But some players are just special players where they can just catch and deliver in one motion with one leg.
Lo que él dice que recomienda atrapar la pelota sobre la pierna externa y pasar al siguiente paso, pero ha visto jugadores que reciben sobre interna y pueden pasar igual, en el caso de Lucaño o Am, y bueno, que se necesita una destreza especial para hacer eso. Pero él, en lo medida posible, recomienda sobre la pierna externa.
No, más que la pregunta es un comentario sobre eso, que de hecho se está entrenando bastante pasar con la pierna interna para disociar. No sé si
He said that these days here in training you work with both legs,
Yes.
catch and pass,
Yeah.
to try to be the habit and to pass the ball with every leg.
Like I
Something
said,
like that.
100% spot on. There's nothing wrong, there's nothing right. We also do the same thing where sometimes players, they catch on the outside and pass. Sometimes they catch on this one and they pass. So there's no right and wrong. But as long as when that player is required to deliver that ball at one motion. If you do it on the outside leg or you do it on the inside leg, to me, it doesn't matter. So which is good. That's exactly what we did. Coach on both of them, they must do everything. And then the things that we spoke about now, I want you guys to tell me if you can see them. Because once again, like I said, if we talk about early catch, something that we coach in our system.
Lo que quiere es ver si pueden ver eso de lo que estamos hablando, el atrapar la pelota antes.
So you ask me about the leg when you pass, or you ask me about it. If to me it doesn't matter. Look at the passes that are coming here, because we see opportunity now. The space is on wide, so we don't tell our players you must always run straight to pass. So
Ahí lo que dice que no le importa, que la oportunidad está afuera y por ahí no es necesario seguir corriendo derecho en esa situación.
can you see all of them? I'll go back again. Look at where they catch, away from the body. No one is catching with the body. Because the moment you catch with your body, you must always reload to pass. And you will see something now with this clip.
La pelota lejos del cuerpo.
And go. Early catch. Now the third player is got all the time to decide what he wants to do with that ball.
Ahora tiene el tiempo para decidir qué hacer con esa pelota.
See how close it was for 13 to defend, to make that tackle on the corner. But because of all the passes that happened before that, they were all spot on in the sense of no one wasted time. Early catch and deliver. Early catch and deliver. Sorry, I'll go again.
Ningún jugador perdió tiempo, recibieron antes y pasaron, y fue lo que mantuvo el espacio para correr y para marcar.
So that's why it's important when it comes to the early catch and deliver in one motion, because it gives the players on the outside more time and space to make decisions.
Por eso insiste en atrapar antes y pasar en un movimiento porque les da más tiempo a los jugadores de afuera.
Let's see on this. Okay, no, it's the same one. And then same thing with the All Blacks. Early catches. Early catches. Now all of a sudden the player on the outside, he's got how much time? He's got all the time, he's got all the space in the world to do whatever he wants to do.
Tuvo todo el tiempo y todo el espacio, así que puede hacer lo que él quiere.
Then I'll go to the next one. This was in the World Cup final.
Esta fue la final del Mundial.
So once again, and something also that we coach to our players, we say, okay, we might have a game plan, but we've got something that we call opportunity. Opportunity overrides everything. We might have a game plan to go somewhere from here, but if the player in front of him sees an opportunity where there's a prop, like for example between me and Dan, if I see Dan in front of me, I see opportunity, I can take him on in a second.
Bien, lo que dice es que ellos tienen un plan de juego que por ahí en la situación les hacía ir de un lado para el otro, pero cuando ven una oportunidad, la oportunidad atraviesa todo el plan. O sea, por ejemplo, si ven un pilar, y en el caso de si lo tiene a Dan enfrente, ve una oportunidad.
So once again, opportunity at test match level, sometimes it's just a half a second or a second. If you don't take it then, 2 seconds later it might be closed.
Y oportunidad en el nivel de test match es medio segundo o a veces un segundo, y si no la tomás, después ya se cierra.
And for us in South Africa, this is a very historical try because of it was the first try in the World Cup final scored by any South African. We played 3 finals, we've won 3 finals, but there was never a try. In 1995, it was always penalties and drop goals. In 2007, kicks against, I think it was England?
England.
Yes. So this was the first one, and this try for me.
Este es un try histórico para Sudáfrica porque es el primer try hecho en una final del mundo. Las 3 finales, este fue el primero.
So once again, look at the things that we spoke about. Early catch and pass in one motion. Lucanio, early catch, pass. Early catch, Marco Max Evuka.
No look pass.
We don't coach that one, but if you're special, you can do it. So that is the thing when it comes to passing. Let me see if when it comes to passing, is there any question? Does it make sense to what I've showed you guys about catching early and releasing in one motion? Do you see how you benefit on the field? Because of it gives the players on the outside more time and space to make whatever decisions they want.
Pregunta si ven ese beneficio de atrapar la pelota antes en el campo.
Then the second one, which is also you do the most, is the running skills.
Lo segundo que hacen más en el juego son las destrezas en la línea de carrera.
Going back to that point again, you must always try before you receive the ball, try to stay square so that you can fix your defenders on the inside.
Va de vuelta con eso, tiene que tratar de mantenerse encuadrado para fijar al defensor en el hombre interno.
The second one will be evasive skills, to run through space. Some players are special where they can just body sweep like this into space.
Destrezas de evasión y correr en el espacio. Algunos jugadores son especialistas en hacer ese tipo de líneas de carrera y demás.
Like the Cruz Malia, the fullback of Argentina currently, he's one of the most dangerous rugby players when it comes to those evasive skills.
Él dice que Juan Cruz Malia en ese tipo de destrezas es el jugador que ellos consideran como más peligroso en ese tipo de situación.
And some players they use stepping to beat players to get into space, like the Chesley and Colbys of this world.
Y también el cambio de paso y cambio de dirección, como el caso de Chesley y Colby.
And then there's also something that we talk about, it's unders and overs line. That you run before you even catch the ball, which is mostly sometimes the forwards also can do it in their middle pots.
Bien, y también lo que habla de lo que es overs and unders son carreras negativas o carreras hacia afuera, los cambios de ángulo, los ángulos de carrera que se trabajan acá.
I'll go to some couple of clips and see that we can see those images here. This is one of the guys that we rate currently. He's the lucid prop. What's his name, Dan? The lucid prop now, the young one.
Gallo.
I'm not sure about the pronunciation.
Okay, but that one is one of the I think he's going to play more than 60 games for Argentina, test matches. He's the future. And I enjoy how he runs with the ball. Let me go back again. Look how he runs into space before he even touches the ball.
Miren cómo corre el espacio antes de tocar la pelota.
You see, before he even received the ball, he was already going on the overs line. So some people, they've got that. So you must try and coach the players. Sometimes you can go into space before you even receive the ball. By the time you get into the ball, look at New Zealand now. Those guys, by the time they want to adjust, the player's already into space before he even
Los
catches the ball.
defensores que trataban de ajustar, él ya estaba en el espacio.
And look at the leg drive also there.
Y también la tracción de piernas.
So that's what we need also on attack. So you must coach those things. Then this is the All Blacks against Argentina also. Once again, sorry, if you see Giovanni at the back, he realizes where the space. Do you understand? The moment you see this player turning the shoulders in, then you know that if you run behind him, you've got a better chance to get a line break there. Most especially if the outside defender is late to adjust.
Giovanni ya tenía visto el espacio, por lo tanto se mueve antes de recibir la pelota con una línea de carga hacia adentro.
So once again, there's evasive skills. He's still going on a 100% pace, but he manages to use his feet to beat the
Destrezas de
defenders.
evasión, máxima velocidad y si puede.
And then also good support play, something that we always coach also on attack.
Y buena calidad de apoyo, que también es otra cosa que debemos entrenar.
So those are the things that we coach the most, the catching and the passing and the running lines. So those are the individual ones now. Now to build it to the next level, we have to work as a unit.
Atrapar y pasar y líneas de carrera son lo más importante, lo que pasa todo el tiempo, pero a nivel individual. Y ahora vamos al siguiente nivel, que sería trabajar con comunidad.
So those are phase plays in between breakdowns. So there's one thing again, we have to attack as a unit.
Que serían los ataques entre fases, entre racks. Y lo que él propone es atacar como una unidad.
The advantage of attacking as a unit is that, remember what the defenders want. If we are defending here, and you guys are attacking, what we want as defenders, if we can make double tackles on you, we know physically we're going to dominate the momentum. We're going to take you backwards, that means your system is going to struggle on attack.
Dice que si él está defendiendo ahí y ustedes están atacando acá, si ellos lo que van a querer es pegar tackles derribando y dominarlos, así de manera de que ustedes tengan que reajustar y luchar para seguir atacando fluidamente.
Okay, so that's another thing, and we also want good connection. So if we are working, the three of us together, we must always be connected so that the defenders can't tell where the ball is going to.
Lo que dice también es tener buenas conexiones. Si ellos están conectados, que la defensa no sepa quién de los tres va a recibir la pelota.
And then once again, everyone in motion.
Y todos en movimiento.
Dummy runners, I don't talk about dummy runners.
Y lo que habla es que no habla de señuelos, todos en una posición real para recibir la pelota.
The moment you mention a dummy runner to a player, to say to me, you are a dummy runner, that player you will be able to tell that he's not going to catch the ball because he knows that it's just a dummy run. Sometimes he will run with the hands here, or the ball is coming from this side, but he's running to look at that side. As a defender, you can tell he's not going to catch the ball because he's not watching the ball. So I always coach players, if the ball is on our inside and the three of us were running off that ball, everyone, eyes on the ball, everyone in motion as if they're going to catch the ball, that gives what? That creates one-on-one battles, if not a space. So the most important thing that we're looking for, we want to create a space. So if we hunt as a unit and the defender makes a wrong decision, thinking that the ball is going to go on the inside, I run into space. Happy days.
Ahí, resumiendo, lo que habla que si un jugador, nosotros lo entrenamos como señuelo, su lenguaje corporal lo va a descubrir y rápidamente juega como señuelo y no va a ser una amenaza para la defensa. Que si los tres son opciones, por ejemplo, y estamos defendiendo en igualdad de número y hay que crear un espacio, si los tres son opciones, hay más posibilidades de que un defensor cometa un error y aprovechar.
And the last thing, if let's say there's no space, at least I must be able to get a one-on-one battle where I can beat one player in front of me. That's where we can get momentum. We in South Africa, we've got big physical players. If those players, they get one-on-one against some teams, we know we're going to dominate the momentum.
Y si no hay espacio, ellos por lo menos quieren poner una batalla uno contra uno donde puedan generar dominio físico, que en Sudáfrica sabemos que lo tienen, y generar inercia a través de eso.
So yes, we hunt as a unit to create spaces. If we don't get spaces, we want to create that one-on-one battle so that we can physically dominate the momentum.
O sea, ellos corren como unidad a crear espacio. Si no crean espacio, quieren esa batalla uno contra uno y generar ese momentum, esa inercia en esa batalla uno versus uno.
I'll show you two good examples of what we're not looking for.
Dos buenos ejemplos de lo que ellos no quieren.
So if you look at England, that player, is there animation around him? Is there movement around him, around that player?
Pregunta si hay movimiento alrededor de ese jugador.
Okay, that makes it easy for the team that's defending, for them to go for double tackles.
Eso hace fácil de defender.
As you can see, he's one of the best ball carriers in the world. He's very strong, but now he's struggling because of there's got about 2-3 players around him.
Uno de los mejores ball carriers en el mundo, y sin embargo tiene que luchar con 2 o 3 jugadores alrededor de él.
There's another one.
Hay otra.
Those 2 players are there, but you can tell they're not going to receive because they're not in motion with him. Look what happened.
No están en movimiento, entonces sabemos que no la van a recibir esos 2 jugadores.
Then look what happens to the defensive side. Double tackles, that means you're not going to get momentum.
Doble tackle y no van a tener momentum.
Then you get a slow ball.
Y una pelota lenta.
This is what to do when it comes to good connections.
Esto es lo que ellos hacen cuando hay buena conexión.
Those players, they know they're working as a unit.
Trabajan como unidad.
Look at the 10 behind. The 10 is in motion as if also he's going to receive. In a realistic position where he's looking at the ball as if he's going to receive also.
El 10 está en movimiento y mirando la pelota, por lo tanto también es una amenaza o una chance de recibir la pelota. Generando dudas.
Because of this motion now, this animation at the back, that defender on the outside, thinking that he might receive the ball, yeah? And he thinks, okay, he's a clever one, he's going to read behind, only to find out the ball is not going behind.
Ese defensor que estaba ahí estaba leyendo que podía recibir la pelota al 10 y como el jugador anterior es inteligente, lee la situación y se mete en el paso.
Let's go to the next one. Australia did it against us very well. I must compliment them. If you look how they attack as a unit,
Miren el ataque comunidad.
those 5 boxes, they are all working together. It's their first play that is planned. Those guys are all 5 of them are in motion.
Esos 5 jugadores que están marcados trabajan en movimiento y están conectados.
At the moment, you can't tell where that ball is going.
Y en el momento no se puede leer a dónde la pelota va a ir.
See, yeah, you can't tell where the ball is going. That player on the outside is in motion to run into the line. This player behind is also sweeping in motion. The players on the outside in motion. We don't know what's happening. And then that creates the spaces on the inside.
Todos están en movimiento y eso genera espacio adentro.
And of course, good support play.
Y buen apoyo.
There's another one, All Blacks against Argentina.
Y otra.
Can you see that movement at the back? It creates doubt on the outside defenders.
El movimiento de atrás genera dudas en los defensores externos.
That creates a space in front
Y genera espacio adelante.
with a good support play.
Con buen apoyo.
Then I'll play the last one. Sorry, I'll play the last one. This is Ireland against the All Blacks. They went to New Zealand, won the series for the first time in New Zealand, and I have to be honest and say they are probably one of the most dangerous attacking team currently in the world. How they organized, how they connected, how they beat their men, where they take the men one on one.
Irlanda yendo a Nueva Zelanda, que ganó la serie por primera vez, dice que es uno de los equipos más peligrosos porque están organizados, conectados y son buenos en el 1 versus 1.
So I'm going to play this clip and let it roll, but I want you guys to look at a few things that I spoke about. Look at how they catch. Look at how they pass. Look at how they beat their men and use the evasive skills and stepping into space. Look at how they hunt as a unit.
Bien, ahora va a dejar la película corriendo y quiere que miren la atrapada la pelota antes, la batalla es 1 contra 1 y cómo trabaja en comunidad y las tareas básicas.
And also look at how the All Blacks are struggling to get positive hits where they get big hits. They're struggling because every tackle, most of them are like one-on-one tackles, and it's on the weak shoulder because of the movement.
Y cómo luchan los All Blacks para volver a ponerse en posición en defensa porque todos los tackles fueron negativos o hacia atrás.
Quick ball, hunting as a unit into space, momentum.
Pelota rápida.
Try to go over the man, didn't work. They're hunting as a unit in threes. Everyone is an option to run.
Unidad de 3, todas opciones para correr.
They started from outside at 22. Good contact skills.
Buena destreza de contacto.
Look how everyone around that ball is in motion.
Todos
All
alrededor de
four
la
players.
pelota en movimiento.
All four players. You can't tell now which player is this ball going to go to after.
En ese momento no se puede leer quién la va a recibir.
See how they're getting a quick ball. Now New Zealand are struggling to set the defense line.
Tiene
They're
pelota
always under
rápida
pressure.
y Nueva Zelanda lucha por organizarse.
There's again those guys working as a unit,
Trabajando como unidad otra vez.
getting momentum. Good leg drive. I'll try to go quicker. There again, two players in motion over advantage line.
Dos jugadores y ganaron la línea de ventaja.
Good body fight. Overs line to get on the outside. Everything that we spoke about earlier on.
Línea de carrera para ganar el espacio externo.
They got a penalty. I think they went to go and score here. I'm not going to play everything here. I think they went to go and score there.
Ventaja y ahí van a marcar en esta situación.
Can you see now with about 17 phases, they started from way outside the 22. But because of their hunting as a unit, All Blacks can't get double tackles on them. They can't get double tackles. They can't stop momentum. All of a sudden, every tackle they make behind advantage line, behind advantage line. So that is something.
17 fases fuera de las 22 y como ellos siempre atacaban como unidad, los All Blacks no podían pegar dobles tackles, por lo tanto siempre los tackles eran hacia atrás y detrás de la línea de ventaja.
Okay, and then I'm going to show you guys. Is there any question on this first before I show you guys normally how we work on training, the drills that we do? Is there any question?
Sí.
¿Cómo trabaja esa conexión de las células? ¿Cómo lo trabajan?
How do you train this connection between this?
You're gonna become a good coach. That's exactly where I'm going to. You're already a step ahead. Good question, my friend.
Dice que
If
va a ser buen
you don't
entrenador,
get
que
your
estás
answer,
adelantado.
if you don't get your answer by the time I finish here, then let me know. Happy?
Dice que si no te responde lo que queda, que le hagas algo.
Let me actually go to your question straight before wasting any time. So this is we call it the connection drill. There's no ball. There's no ball involved there. There's nothing.
Esto es un ejercicio de conexión, no hay pelota involucrada todavía.
Then sometimes what we do, we'll say to them, okay, out of 15 players on the field, only 2 players are allowed to talk. We're working on the connection now. So the connection is not about what I say, sometimes it's how I feel around you.
Dice que pone 15 jugadores en el campo y solo 2 jugadores están permitidos hablar.
So those guys are working as a unit. You see now they're running off 10 without saying anything.
Sin pelota, sin decir nada. Es para ver la sensación.
See how these guys are reloading, also setting on this side. They know they're working as a unit.
Y trabajan como unidad.
Can you see? Those 4 guys on the wider channels, they work together. Look how these guys in the middle here. Look how these guys are connected. I'll forward it again to the next one. There we go again. There's no ball involved.
Sin pelota involucrada.
Can you see there's no ball involved? So how we normally build it, we'll say to start, there's a couple of things that we're looking for. We want the player to always reload and make sure that from the next phase you're always ready to attack again. So we say the first one, let's say you decide, okay, you don't want anyone to talk, you're gonna talk. Then you know your plays, but I can't say the names of the plays now. Let's say you want the ball to go to 10 and to the middle guy. Then you know the call, you call it yourself. Then they just do that.
Él dice que no hace falta que hablen, sino que cada uno lo sabe y se lo canta a sí mismo. En el momento de 9 a 10, o jugar a partir de 9 o a partir de 10. No va a decir las jugadas, los cantos, por razones obvias, pero que ellos se genera ese hábito de autocantarse la situación.
Then the second one,
¿El 9 o el 10 canta?
He asks if the 9 or 10 made the call.
I'm getting there. This one first, you can play around with it. So what you do sometimes, you say, okay, fine, only 9 and 10 can talk.
Después dice, solo 9 y 10 pueden hablar.
So all the other players, they just working to get into connections and do their roles.
Y todo el resto de los jugadores trabajan en la conexión.
And then sometimes, to make it interesting, you even say maybe one of your props, or you even say on the other side, the wing must communicate. So the prop and the wing must talk, all the other ones must just work on getting connected and executing those calls for those
Y
guys.
para hacerlo interesante a veces dice que por ejemplo un pilar y un wing pueden hablar nomás. Y todos tienen que organizarse y conectarse en esas condiciones.
And then probably your last block, and then you will say, okay, everyone can communicate, and you will see how easy now it becomes when all 15 players on the field are communicating.
Y después, en el último bloque, todos pueden comunicarse y después ya se siente diferente y todos lo organizan.
So, before I go to the last question, so the goal when it comes to the connection drill, they need to feel each other before even you open your mouth. They need to feel each other on what needs to be done.
Necesitan sentir, tener la sensación entre ellos antes de poder hablar y comunicarse.
Then when the voice comes in, then it makes it easy. Then it comes natural.
Y cuando la voz viene ya se hace más natural y mucho más fácil.
Happy?
¿Esas estructuras utilizan pelotas lentas o...?
He asks if these connections you use in slow ball or fast ball.
For now, when you start, for example, you start building it in your own pace. The most important thing is not about the quick ball or the slow ball. So you want to be comfortable in your connections. So to start, I'll probably say, make it slow.
Dice que al principio para empezar le va a proponer que sea lenta la pelota, si se puede trabajar sobre las conexiones. Después en la fluidez del juego.
And the more they get comfortable, then you can make it challenging way. Now you make the breakdown speed quicker.
Cuanto más cómodos están, va acelerando y los desafía acelerando la pelota del breakdown y demás.
Happy set? Once again, if you want to take it to the next level, then you introduce bags on the other side, defenders.
Para llevarlo al siguiente nivel, introduce defensores.
So phase 1, slow ball. Phase 2, make it quicker. Phase 3, put bags on the other side to put us under pressure.
O sea, primer paso, pelota lenta, segundo paso, hacerlo más rápido, y tercer paso, poner backs defendiendo para meter presión.
Any questions on connection?
Ahí las conexiones que mostraba de Irlanda, por ejemplo, había claramente un tipo delante que no era necesariamente un 9, un 10, un centro, y 3 jugadores atrás. ¿Sí? Por ahí vemos a Nueva Zelanda que ataca con 3 tipos adelante y la ruptura o el centro atrás. ¿Qué puede explicarme eso? ¿Por qué esa diferencia de estructura de ataque?
He asks maybe Ireland plays 3 forwards and 10.
Mm-hmm.
New Zealand maybe the same. He asks if what can you explain about it, that the shape or structure to play.
When it comes to systems, teams, they play a lot of different systems. Some teams, they play 1-3-2-2. Some teams, they play 1-3-3-1. Some teams, they'll probably sometimes play 4-4 when it comes to a forward. So whatever system that you want as a coach, that is, I don't ever say to how teams must play. So teams, they do have different systems. And through analyzing, we also pick up that some teams, they go with 1-3, 2-2. Some teams, they will go 4-4 sometimes. Some teams will go, even sometimes I've seen a team where they split 2-2-2-2. All their 8 forwards, they split them into four groups. So it's up to you. Yes, I understand the question, but I can't go too deep on how we do our one. But we've also got a system in place.
En lo que se refiere a los sistemas, dice que hay un montón de equipos que juegan sistemas distintos, 1-3-3-1, 3-2-2, a veces juegan 4-4 incluso durante el partido, que él los analiza, que ellos tienen un sistema que obvio no lo va a comentar acá, pero bueno, que es una parte importante de cómo funcionan los otros equipos.
Just the last thing before, I've got 2 questions. I'm almost done. I think my colleagues are hungry here.
Dos preguntas.
Just last thing from my side. Because I spoke about catching and passing a lot earlier on, I don't think this needs to, you don't have to have millions of pesos. I don't think you need diamonds. I don't think you need to play in a glass field. I don't think you just need even a rugby ball. Even if you've got a young kid at home or you've got a club player, it's not expensive to practice these things that I'm going to show you now. We at the Springboks, from being world champs, this is how basic it is for us to train this catching and passing. And I feel like the more we drive these fundamentals in our club players and in our school kids, I think the better it is in the future for the national team also.
Dice que ahora vamos a mostrar algunas imágenes de atrapar y pasar, que no se necesita ni millones de pesos, ni de dólares, ni de nada, sino que imaginar una pelota y trabajarlo desde de rugby infantil hacia adelante, que ese es el objetivo para tener, y son las bases de ellos.
So this is how we practice the early catch. Between 2 players, look at the focus. The focus is only the early catch here. Between 2 players, you can coach this to your kids at home.
El foco está en atrapar antes.
Simple, early catch. Early catch. And then the next stage, on this one, we'll probably now with the pass. Early catch with the pass. Let me actually show you this one.
Atrapar antes con un pase.
Look at how all of them are catching early and pass in one motion.
Atrapar antes y pasar en un movimiento.
Does that not look like the try we scored against Wales? Remember the try where they made 3 passes and then we kick on the water channel?
No es lo mismo que en la situación contra Gales que mostramos antes.
Let's see. So the big rocks that we've used on the training session are the big rocks that worked for us on a training session. Where sometimes I feel like the coaches, they make a mistake. They want to focus, spend more time on the fancy plays where you're practicing the moves, but you only get twice to play those moves in the game.
Dice que los entrenadores muchas veces cometen el error de generar movimientos de backs para generar espacio, para generar quiebres, y que por ahí en un partido tenés 2, y que eso es lo que hacen en el entrenamiento, es lo que después se ve en el partido, como fue el partido contra Gales.
Is there any question again on the? Is there any question on the catching and passing before I close?
Otra pregunta antes de que cierre sobre atrapar y pasar.
I have to say this in Spanish. Muchas gracias. Thank you.